Good evening, everybody. My name is Vice Admiral J.L. Galloway, your co-host and Fleet 31 Commanding Officer. One of your co-hosts and your Fleet 31 Commanding Officer for the Center Seat, a Fleet 31 Communication podcast. And I'm joined tonight by my co-host, Rear Admiral Jenny Hay, our Deputy Fleet Commander, and
Howdy ho.
Captain Sterling will be joining us in a little bit.
Yes.
He had to step away for a moment. So how have you been, Jenny?
Pretty good. Just work life. Been busy.
Hmm. Yeah, I can hear you on that one. So should we wait for him and just go on a tangent, or should we actually start the show?
I don't
Like
know.
we
Oh, he looks like he's coming back.
like we need an excuse for a tangent, right?
Yeah, we always have tangents.
Can
That's
you
the
imagine
fun
if we
part.
did? Can you imagine if we didn't have Scott around to keep us on track?
Right?
It's like we planned that or something.
Yeah, totally.
All right, let's go ahead and go into our first topic of the night. Career reports. What have we all been up to since last week? The Year of Hell, Part 1. Well, actually, our title's actually called Altering History, Part 1, but yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, mainly working and trying to get through the refit.
Looks like it's almost done.
Yeah, getting there.
I did a lot of work this weekend too in my apartment. Still more to do. Ugh. But beyond that, we also had another COVID outbreak again at work.
Yay! So
Fun.
much fun.
At my other site, the one that we anticipate or that we expected. All I can say is people who don't think a COVID thing is real, no, it is. Okay, follow the rules. If you're not feeling well, do not go to work. Please don't go to work, especially if. And then here's the worst part: it wasn't actually any of our employees; it's one of our contractors. So we got this expensive, big, huge door, right, that needed to be installed. And so the contractor we hired had COVID. It's like, really? And then, so the people that he was around all had to quarantine now for 14 days. Plus, we had to do
hmm
a deep clean on the building. So that was what most of my day was like. So I apologize if I felt like I wasn't around much just the last couple days.
Nah, life is busy. We understand.
Are you sure? Because last time I disappeared, you're like, "Hey, are you okay? Should I call the National Guard?"
But you told us what was going on. Last time you didn't tell us that you had something going on. If you just
Mm,
say, hey, I'm busy right now, or hey, there's something going on at work, it's different than
Uh,
just disappear on us.
hmm.
Okay?
Yes, I make a more conscious effort. What about you,
Yeah.
Jenny?
What I do today this week? What I do? I venture out to Walmart for the first time in I don't know how long.
Ugh, I'm sorry.
I
I mean,
know.
yay.
I'm not a big I'm not a big Walmart fan in general, but I had to go there to get a few things that other stores didn't have.
Hmm.
And it's one place that has my I have a like a sensitivity skin sensitivity certain items. And
Hmm.
Walmart's the only place that has my deodorant for a reasonable price.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I need to go get something else at Walmart. Might as well just stock up. So I have of my deodorant, so I should be set for like a year now.
Yeah, you don't have any Dr. Pepper,
Dr. Pepper, Walmart has Dr. Pepper, so
but your other store didn't. So
no, they were out for the first time ever.
I got Dr. Pepper also too.
What else I do today?
Oh, you didn't invite me to an event.
I did invite you to an event. I had to share you the invite. I sent you and Scott both because you're both on.
hmm
And I wanted to invite my friend Chase, but he wasn't in the cruise group, so I couldn't invite him.
So but you did it on Facebook?
Uh huh.
We'll talk about it after off the air. Like,
People were watching the Unification Part 1 and 2 to get ready for tonight's episode because it's called Unification 3, I think.
but
hmm
in all fairness, we don't really know if it is going to be a continuation of the original story because
Right.
no spoilers, I promise. But come on, Leonard
Well,
Nimoy's been dead since 2015. I don't know how they're going to get Spock unless they're going to do Ethan Peck or Zachary Quinto to play the character.
Or they're gonna have Michael Burnham be that part.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
maybe.
what. Well, we all know because it happened
Well,
in
this
the
isn't spoilers because we
first or
don't
second
really know.
season that
But it is.
she.
Oh, you know who? I think I might know who it is, but it's a potential spoiler, so I won't say it.
Yeah, maybe we should move on because we agreed
Yeah,
Yeah,
to talk about Discovery.
yeah,
We could talk about off the air.
yeah. Well,
Ooh,
not too long because I do have work tonight, so
yeah.
you don't need to go to work. It's okay. You tell your boss.
I kind of want to go to work tonight because it's time and a half tonight.
Ooh. Yeah, it's gonna be time and a half. But oh, I gotta work tomorrow.
I don't. I don't go to work again until Monday.
Scott.
Read between the
Hey,
lines.
it is one of the only corporate holidays we actually get 2 in a row off, so we only get 7 a year
Oh, okay.
total holidays. So yeah, I'm taking advantage of it.
Do you get Christmas
I
Eve
mean,
and Christmas off?
We get Christmas. That's it.
No Christmas Eve?
Nope.
Wow.
I'll be working Christmas Eve and Christmas Day because hotels don't even shut down. But that's okay. I mean, I'm not worried about missing out Thanksgiving this year because we can't really go anywhere,
Hmm.
so it's not that big of a deal. So
Yeah. Oh, I hear somebody's doggy.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that's Tessie. That Tess.
I think so.
All right. So,
Anyway, so
anyways, I think we're gonna have a lighter audience tonight because of the fact that we do have the holidays. Speaking of tomorrow,
hmm
so we decided we were gonna go ahead and do the show because we didn't give enough time to say we weren't going to do it. Plus, we also wanted to finish up Year of Hell Part 2.
Hmm.
So I did. I mean, I watched it at least 3 times already. I took down notes the first time, and then I went back and made sure I didn't forget anything the last 2 times because that's a hard thing. Like when you're getting ready to prep and do it, to talk about the episode, you want to make sure you didn't forget anything.
Hmm.
hmm
Kind of like Star Trek Picard when I watched the 8th episode like 8 times. Not because I was prepping to do a show, but sometimes you miss a lot of things, and it's also fun to go back and rewatch them.
yeah, it
So
was kind of nice. I went and rewatched. It was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Hmm.
Oh
the one thing I will say, it's not really a full year of hell. It's only 257 days of hell.
yeah, but I mean, okay, they're what 100 days off or so, but yeah,
So we can get started if you guys would like.
Sure.
sure.
All right, let's go ahead and start. Oh, where are my notes? See, I'm so
Look,
prepared
Jay
for
was
this.
so professional and made notes and everything this time.
I made notes last time. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
No, you didn't.
okay.
Yes, I did. What do you think I was reading from last time? I was reading on it.
What a nerd.
Wow. You hear this, guys? This is what I have to put up with.
There's only one person watching. I'm pretty sure that's Scott watching us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is because I just sent a message to Sammy and Howie, and I don't think Sammy's gonna watch this tonight. And unfortunately, she did come down with COVID, so keep her in your thoughts.
Mm,
Oh no.
But she is just tired, so she's been resting a lot and had to lock herself in her bedroom, trying to keep her kids and her husband out. So we've been talking all day. So hopefully she might come on. If she does, I don't know if she'll stay the whole time.
I
All
understand.
right.
She needs to rest.
Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and start. Year of Hell. We start with a recap. We learned that Anorax. That's the name of the captain, not the name of the ship. I want to apologize for that because
Yeah,
Anorax is the name of the ship in Star Trek Online. Go ahead, Jenny.
I thought the same thing, and then when I go, oh crap, no, that's the captain, not the ship. I thought the same thing. It's okay.
However, in the Star Trek Online version of the ship, it is called the Anorax in honor of the guy who helped
Hmm.
build it. So let's go ahead and here learn to recap that the Anorax is Captain Anorax is trying to restore the glory of the Krenim Empire. As we saw in part one, he got up to 98%, but that wasn't good enough for him. So the crew of the USS Voyager is still struggling after 73 days, and unfortunately, Captain Janeway has to make a call no captain ever wants to make, and that's to abandon her ship. So we see that everybody is leaving in the escape pods. We know that the senior staff is staying behind to scuttle the ship and to try to rescue their crew, Chakotay and Parrot. And that's where we leave off, and then we start automatically on day 133.
hmm
The USS Voyager's current condition has left them vulnerable to spatial anomalies. Anomalies. So when we first pick up on Voyager, she's hiding in a nebula that's very toxic. So it makes me wonder, it's like what it's like what kind of nebula are they hiding? What is a class 9 nebula, I guess?
Something that's very toxic.
I
But
know.
great, when they're hiding something
Well,
very toxic, they don't have shields, they don't have anything. Wouldn't that toxic just start eating away at the ship?
One would think,
yeah.
especially since the ship isn't properly sealed.
Yeah. So I'm like, I mean, I know they had to hide to recover, and well, later on in the episode, we find out that they've been there for like months, and so I'm wondering how do they survive if it's a very level 9 high toxic atmosphere?
Well, we kind of get a hint. They're not, because Janeway and Harry are the first thing we see when they zoom back in to the ship from the ship into
Hmm.
the inside the interior is we see Harry and Janeway trying to make repairs and getting the gas. Why am I saying vast? To get the gas ventilated
Right.
properly so they
Mhm.
can breathe. Well, in the process, you know, the doctor I guess tells them, "Hey, you only have 8 minutes," and it took them 12. So obviously, Janeway has some lung damage. Harry has some lung damage, but he actually went to sick bay like he was supposed to. Versus Janeway's like, okay, this one problem's now solved. Got to move on to the next problem. And that I do like the fact that it was a little bit of realization. Okay, it's a small crew. They don't have enough people, so everybody's overworked, everybody's tired, and you can't
Hmm.
just stop and rest. The other thing I like about this particular part of the episode is it's not really talked about much here, but is Janeway overrules the doctor.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna comment when we get to that scene.
Okay, yeah. But she's kind of. But we already get a hint that she's doing it before we get to that scene.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
obviously, you can tell. She's
yeah,
not
she
really looking
definitely. And I
for
was like, ooh, I don't. I mean, she did something. I have mixed feelings.
it. Hmm.
I have because the doctor was right and said yes, she needs to rest and needs to just those mental things going on. You need to take care of that.
Yeah,
But also, I understand she's trying to get the ship out and running.
yeah.
So it's like, okay, it's hard to pick because you don't have a full crew. Remember, almost all the crew left. Just the main senior staff are still on the ship right now.
So the one thing I do want to point out though is that we are jumping a little bit ahead.
Mhm.
But the reason I did that is because you can tell that she's already not in good shape.
Mhm.
Harry looks like he's been through hell himself, and they're trying to keep the ship together.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing I want to mention is maybe I'm hoping some of the fans or our fellow fans saw that and maybe understood it better. What would it be like if you were in their position and the ship was falling apart? And of course she cares a lot about her ship. And every captain, the old saying is true. Every captain goes down with their ship,
Hmm.
unless it's a cruise liner, in which we can discuss another time. No, I'm just kidding. Most captains always go down with their ship, but
That's ship. Yeah.
there was something I was watching the other day, and it made me annoyed because like it was an Italian cruise liner captain who refused to go down with his ship. He was actually one of the first people to save himself. That story aside, sorry about that tangent. So we have Janeway here. We see that they're repairing it, and she's saying, "I hope you can hold your breath" to Harry. And then the scene jumps. So this is before she actually met the doctor. Okay, so the engines are offline. She needs to seek medical attention, but she's refusing, and she's trying to keep the ship together. She's coughing really badly, and she's telling Harry, "I hope you can hold your breath." And then we move from there over to, let me over my banners, over to Paris and Chakotay. And we get a first hint at their incarceration. We're not really told what happens too much. We do know that we find Chakotay in a dark room.
Mhm.
He's possibly been interrogated, or maybe he's just been probed medically. I don't really know. We don't really know. All we know is
Not
that,
at this time.
yeah.
Yeah, they
All we
didn't really
know,
go into it too
Not at this
much.
time. I mean, later on in the episode, we kind of explain what's going on.
yeah. Well, you can tell that he hasn't shaved in days, and
Mhm.
but he's taken to go see the Captain Anorax, and he's not wearing his uniform. So we do know that at some point either they took the uniforms off him, they made him change. We like I said, there's a lot of story there we don't know, and Chakotay basically wants information, so he's willing to listen to the captain. Because I think that's a good thing about any POW would tell you is the first thing you want to do is you want to gather as much information you possibly can.
Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
And Paris obviously is doing the same thing, but you want to gather as much information as you possibly can, especially when you're in a in a hostage situation or a prison situation, where you're
Mhm.
captured. So basically, Chakotay is met by Captain Anarax, and Captain Anarax is trying to wow him over with all the um, artifacts that he has of civilizations that no longer exist. Cadet Gailey, what are you doing?
You finally noticed
No, I noticed
my
you a while ago.
existence.
Well, actually, I switched you a while ago. I switched your camera placements. I noticed you. I just had to wait for an opening.
I was just meeting you because I don't want to hear ice and chewing while we're talking.
I don't blame you. So,
Okay, and that scene and that episode, that's when we find out that they've been on the ship for 2 months.
200 years. Oh, you mean the other two? Yeah,
Yeah, they've been on the 200. Yeah, no, I'm saying
yeah,
that's when we find out that it's been 2 months since we last saw the between part one and part two, at least 2 months, because that's when he goes, well, you've been poking and prying us for the past 2 months or something like that.
yeah. Well, I kind of got that. I already knew that from day 73 to day 133 that some time
Yeah,
had
but it kind of
passed.
gives you
Mhm.
like if you don't understand
Yeah,
or whatever, it kind of gives you more of a okay, they've been on that ship for 2 months.
yeah. And it doesn't look like they might be getting treated humanely, but it doesn't really look like it when they first zoom in on them.
Mhm.
But then it's like, so my question is, what made Captain Anorex change his tactic? Was it something that he learned during the interrogation about Chakotay's character? Yes, Kaylee, they look pretty. Or, again, I felt like this was a missed opportunity on the writer's part.
Yeah.
Because to me, it just felt like, what is the whole point of this scene? I rather they would have started without the dark room and just started with him meeting Anorax and be like, and Chakotay be like, why are we at this again? You know?
Mhm.
I kind of wish they had like a short flashback scene or like a montage of them on the ship and what they
Hmm.
experienced so we can kind of understand why they started that scene. It could
But
be a minute, like maybe a minute of just little flashback of scenes
Hmm.
of them on they get back on the
mhm.
ship and what happened because we have no clue what's going on. We didn't know until they said, "Oh well, your Tom has been fighting it every day."
But there's a reason too why some of these scenes feel like they're slightly out of order, but it's more for general talk when we get there, rather than interrupt the segment.
Mm, okay. So then we get to this part where you get Paris, you get Chakotay, and Chakotay obviously is doing what he can to survive and listen in. But it makes me wonder: is like, was Anorax really wearing him down? Which we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, or did he just find some common ground which he thinks he could persuade him or whatever to the dark side, if not, persuade his
Yeah.
scientists
Mhm.
in him. So we have that whole aspect. We get that little scene, but we don't get too much of it because then it goes right back into the USS Voyager. This it's like
Hmm.
literally like you get that quick of a scene, and then all of a sudden you're back on Voyager, and the crew are trying to be cheerful, but it's hard because they have this mini celebration and talking about their distant friends, and they're drinking something what Neelix calls in the elixir of
Elixir of life.
endurance.
Yeah, endurance. Yeah.
Yes. They talk about the repairs, and they mention that the ship is now 32% repaired. And yes, Kaylee, that's cute. And they're saying that they might be able to get the repairs up to 50% by this
Hmm.
stage. And there's a little small dialogue here, nothing too no significant. Would have been nice maybe if they would have tied in like how's Chakotay doing, how's or maybe give an update about where some of the crew escape pods are.
Yeah, I kind of
Mhm.
wish I knew where the because in the end of the episode we don't really see much anyways afterwards. Well, anyways,
Mhm.
um, yeah, I kind of wish they kind of gave us a little more details going on.
Yeah, me too. So then we get another quick flash scene over to Chakotay's Temptation, is what I'm calling this. Basically, Captain Anorex is trying to restore the Empire. He's finally giving Chakotay more and more information.
Mhm.
And my only thought behind this is, and it's going back to the earlier incarceration, is Anarax is either led to believe that Chakotay is starting to come around, or he's just laying it all on the cards and just doesn't care. I really don't know which of the two options it is.
Is that when Anorak explains why he was doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he explains why he was doing this, and I think it kind of tugged on Chakotay's heart a little. I think
Well,
that's why he started to kind of
well,
be more interactive with him.
well, I also think is, he said, hey, if you don't like it, work on it, make it better.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. Chakotay's temptation.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. I mean, it's been 2 months. Yes, they might have been not incarcerated. They might have been interrogated. We don't really know what happened. I, Personally, if I was a first officer, I don't know if I would be working with the enemy or even being tempted to work with the enemy. If I did be tempted to work with the enemy, if they were stupid enough to give me access to the computers, I would do what I could to possibly sabotage
Well, he's
or
like
send out
Tom.
a message.
It's weird. It's like because Chakotay. I think something happened where he's like, oh, this could actually potentially help us,
Yeah.
and I don't have to worry about actually being. I think he was looking at, oh, well, we don't do this. I can go erase history and not worry about being the Delta Quadrant at all. Whereas in Tom's like, no, this is bad. We shouldn't do this. Let's escape.
Well, we really haven't gotten there yet to Tom.
Well, yeah,
This is
but
just the scene with Chakotay and Anorax.
yeah,
So we're getting a
that's
little ahead
because
because we got to
well,
jump
it's because
back.
Tom didn't want to talk about it, so he left.
Yeah,
So
it's true. We kind of make. Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. So you're right. He did. He left, and the other two started talking, and then
hmm
they immediately go from there. Wow, this is going a lot faster than yesterday's.
yesterday, we
Yeah,
were doing yesterday.
I mean not yesterday, last week's episode.
It's because we have nobody talk. There's two people watching. I mean, there's
Uh,
one person watching. Hi, that one person. I don't know who you are, but thank you.
so we're gonna move
Last week
into.
we had like 10 people.
I know, right? Could also be because of the holidays.
It probably is.
But when
So
no one should be traveling, so everybody should be at home watching us.
hey, let's not get into the political side of that.
Just saying.
Because I just love people when they misinterpret memos that get passed out, and they either fine. We'll go on that tangent since you brought it up for a quick second. I hate how people will take something that they see and read and just base and just read it the way they want to see it. Because it clearly states that each governor, it's up to each governor that the federal government says this, and each governor is makes a choice. Basically, it's the federal government's way of copying out to actually giving the direct order. It's a guideline. It's a recommendation. Kind of like how before we went on air, we talked about how it recommends to you that you have
Ugh,
3, right?
yeah.
But it doesn't clearly state, hey, you need to upgrade to a professional package. Same argument, right? Same principle. Technically, according to the rule, yes, okay, and people are misreading it. But if you actually read the wording, even here on StreamYard, if we want to have more than 3 things, we have to upgrade our services after already paying $250 for 3 accounts.
I didn't see how much it was, how much extra it was.
We can look at that later if we're really
Yeah,
interested in it.
Hmm.
I think we're
But
good.
yeah,
Well, that's because, guys, we have our own YouTube channel. We
yes, we'll
forgot to
talk about
mention
that
that.
briefly.
We should have forgot to mention that. Yeah, we have our own YouTube channel now.
And we're actually broadcasting on it tonight for the first time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yay. It is a little weird though when you have more than one admin, because like Jenny added it a couple days ago, then I added it because it wasn't reflecting, and then it's like, so it's reflecting on her account, but it's not reflecting on my account.
But yeah, it's all the same account. We all logged in underneath the same email and password.
And I haven't touched it, so it's not me.
But that's just weird how, anyways, tangent.
All right.
How is we're all technically under the same account, but one of it's like same web browser.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But anyways, we're good to go.
So we want to go back to 180, day 180.
Sure.
All right. So day 180, we learned that the USS Voyager is about to get hit by a micrometeor shower. It's heading towards the deflectors are down. There's no power available to the deflector control. That's what they say, right? There's a reason
Mhm.
I actually wrote that down. And then Janeway mentioned that she's going to head down to deflector control, and which has been deemed a hazard level 4. Here's my question: if there's no power available and you're heading down to deflector control, how are you going to get the deflectors online, or the deflector?
Well,
Yeah.
she went down to reroute power though to the deflector, didn't she?
No, she went into
She
deflector control.
Right.
she had to reroute power somehow.
It would have been nice if it would have been like, okay, bridge, take power from here or something, but that's
Yeah,
not what they said in the episode.
that's true.
I'm honestly surprised that the writers or the screenplay writers did not catch that mistake, because those are the kind of things that that they're supposed to catch. Like, for example, like if you have a scene and the guy's wearing a red shirt, and then you have to cut that scene and you have to refilm it, and the guy's wearing a blue shirt. Those are the kind of things that they're supposed to pick up on.
Oh, but I love picking those up. Those are like the funnest things to do.
Mm-hmm. It's like,
If you ever watch a movie a lot of times and like you want to kind of ruin it,
yeah,
go to IMDb and there's a section where it says like airs or whatever,
yeah,
and it's great.
nice. So
Anyways,
that's the kind of error we got in this episode, right?
hmm
So we're getting there, and Janeway indicates that there's a fire. So obviously the sensors aren't working properly, which makes me wonder, how could you tell there's a micrometeor outside, but you couldn't tell there's a fire inside your own ship? I just think it's bad writing. And like you guys, I think Scott said it. This had been rewritten a few times. This
A
episode had,
few times,
hmm
and yep.
and it makes me wonder, is like when they rewrote it, they didn't take into consideration about what they said the line before, or they didn't proofread the whole thing, make sure it was symmetry. So this scene was kind of hard for me because there were so many errors in it. So Janeway indicates there's a fire. She brings the deflectors back online somehow, miraculously. Don't know how,
movie magic.
but
I mean, TV magic.
I know, right? But before she goes into and apparently her only choice is to go through the fire. So she grabs this little piece of metal or bulkhead piece and blazes through the fire, which I'm assuming didn't really help her, because apparently when she wakes up, she's her body has been badly burned.
hmm
So it's like, I don't know what the point of picking up the little piece of I'm sorry, I'll just use this, like the little board, that covers part of her body, and then push through the fire. Obviously, it didn't do anything. So it's like, what was the point of that? Maybe protect her face?
But it didn't protect. Well, it had like half a face.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Again, it's like these kind of things. Like, I rather would have seen her put her hands up as she walked through
hmm
the fire or something. Because, like, what was the point of that prop piece if it didn't actually serve any practical function?
I want to get to this next thing you're talking about.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward. So the next thing you know is Janeway restores power. They're able to divert most of the micrometeors away, and then we see Janeway waking up, and she's with the doctor. The doctor's like, I've treated your wounds. I don't have a dermal regenerator. I'm just paraphrasing at this point.
Yep.
Don't have a dermal regenerator, so you're gonna have to live with the scars. And she's okay with that. And then he tells her that she needs to rest, and she refuses, saying, "I don't have time. When the ship is repaired, I will rest then." And he's like, I'm paraphrasing. Basically, he's telling her, "No, you're gonna do this," and he's basically telling her, if you continue upon this course of action, that you're gonna leave me no alternatives. And then she tries to leave, and he relieves her of command.
But she's like, "What are you gonna do? Put me in the brig's destroyed. Do we have no force shields?" You know, she was a
Yeah.
little sarcastic, and
Yeah.
so here's what I thought. Okay,
Yeah.
the doctor woke her up.
Hmm.
The doctor could have just let her sleep because she said, "You need the rest. You need to, stay in
Yeah.
sick bay." If he was, I mean, he could have just kept her asleep, let her rest for a couple. I mean, we don't know how long she's been out when she got burned and all that stuff, but I was like, why did the doctor not just
Yeah.
keep her asleep?
That's a good
If
question.
he knew that she needed the rest and to, stay in sick bay, or really only sick bay. It wasn't like a cafeteria. It was wasn't it mess hall?
It was a mess hall.
Yeah. So why did she not keep her? Why did he not keep her asleep for a couple hours?
That's a good question.
Now, granted, we don't know how long she was asleep when after he recovered, after she treated her, but still.
That's true. Why didn't she just keep her why did he just keep her in a medically induced coma?
Hmm.
Yeah.
But then again, he might have been brought up on charges for overstepping his boundaries. So I don't. We really don't know. We really don't know how much authority that the doctor
Yeah.
has.
But he could just quit a couple hours, just let her sleep some.
He might have already done that. We don't know how long she
That's
was
why I'm
out
saying
there
we
either.
don't know how long.
So it's a hard scene because you could tell here that. Okay, I've said this before, and my friend Howie's not here to argue with me, so that's a good thing. So when he goes back and watches the replay, he won't be able to yell at me in the audience when I say this. This is bad writing on the writer's part because they make Janeway become what? Is he in? Is he there?
I don't know who it says Facebook user, so I don't know who it is,
That
but I'm
is,
pretty.
Oh, I know who it is. I know exactly who that is. We'll come back to that in a second. But my friend Howie, right? He says that Janeway is not bipolar. And the reason I say she is because they had so many writers writing Janeway in different ways.
Yeah.
Even in this particular episode, it's like because one scene you'll have her being a happy, loving mother bear. Another
Yeah,
scene
we
you'll have her
talked about
being
this.
yeah. So this is one of those prime example scenes of that
Hmm.
where you really see it. Hi, Mike Tripp. How are you doing tonight?
Why does it say Facebook user?
I don't know.
Is it because we have two Facebook attached to this now?
Possibly.
It's Mike Tripp. Mike Tripp. I'll tell you right now, if you want to pay the $300 to get the helmet, I will watch it for 44 episodes of
Watch
Stargate
it. You
Universe.
mean wear it?
Wear it. No, I was gonna watch it. I will wear it for 44 episodes if Jenny agrees to watch every episode. We'll review it every week.
No. I will watch every 4 episodes of Universe if you wear every day on the cruise.
What? So you want me to do it for 7 days? I can't wear it the whole time. Why don't I want to go swimming?
You can't go swimming.
Oh no.
No.
I'm not
You,
paying $4,600 not to go
no, no.
swimming
You,
or to
you
show up my body.
here's what you
Absolutely
do.
not. No.
You waterproof it, and then you add a snorkel to it.
No. 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 But I will tell you this. So what I will do, my counter offer, all 44 episodes of Stargate Universe, plus an additional. Well, depends on how much it costs. If it's $300, what is 300 minus 44? That's
354.
1, yeah.
what?
Oh, 254. Sorry.
So fine, I will wear for an additional 254 episodes, which is practically the rest of the time on the air. That's what you wanted. By the way, Scott, we're gonna have daily episodes until until we complete. I don't care if it's 5-minute segments. Hi, welcome to episode 255.
It's only been 5 months. Well, actually, no, it would be. Oh God, I don't want to do the math in my head.
Then I can see Jenny not even coming on half the time. She'd be in the audience like, "This doesn't count, Jay."
And Mike, I think I know who you're talking about there, because I know someone that has one too.
He said, "I bet I could find someone." Oh, we could walk around with it and do like
Mike?
a flat Stanley, but call it the Spock helmet.
I like how.
Or-
Oh, do you think you guys know Jacqueline Coleman?
I know
Hmm?
Jack Coleman, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna approve her. She's asked. Thank you, Jacqueline Coleman, if you're watching us, for joining Fleet 31. We appreciate that. And so
Oh,
for
I
those,
posted that on. Okay, so today, early tape, side tangent.
Mhm.
I was watching the unification on the Netflix party for the cruise group,
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey guys, I gotta go get my podcast ready," and they were asking about the podcast. So I posted that link in the event page. So we might get some people through there.
Oh, nice, nice. So, woo.
It really sucks. It says Facebook user. We have to figure out what the error is for that.
I guess the best way of doing it is just going over to the comments and trying to read them live. Hang on a second. I gotta mute them. Oh wow. Okay, so we really have a delay because I just muted the audio and the live feed,
Mhm.
and it just started talking about Jacqueline Coleman.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a good delay. Like what, 20-second delay or so?
Yeah.
Right
it is.
about.
All right. Here. It is Mike Trip.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but we'll
I
have to
know.
play around and figure out what's going on with that. I have a feeling it's because we have to.
We had this
Yeah.
problem before, though.
Have we?
Yeah. I
We
don't
also
know
have
what
some
the.
destinations won't get comments. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Some. Well, we could learn more. YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Facebook pages, but not Facebook groups. We can't read comments from face or chat platforms. Says no to Facebook groups and no to Facebook profiles. So,
oh, so we're okay. So he's on the Fleet 31 group page
oh,
and not through Center Seat.
That's probably why.
okay. So, Mike, if you can hear us, that's why.
It says Facebook user because you're on the Fleet 31 group page.
Yeah.
We were trying to save us time by having it automatically post to the Facebook Fleet page.
But I think we'll get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, well, that'd be fun to uninstall that app. Well, it's a pain just to put it on in the first place.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Anyways, we
Anyways,
learned our lesson.
yep. So, where were we? We were on episode or
We were
day
talking about
180.
we were just at Janeway giving the
Well, that's the
doctor
end of the scene.
flack and
Well,
if
that's
I think
literally the end of the scene. I mean,
yeah.
Janeway refusing, and then she's saying,
Mhm.
"I would basically welcome a court martial to save her ship." She would basically welcome a court martial.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, she's basically like, after this year, I'd welcome a court martial, I think was the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I don't blame her. I would too.
But then again, I don't know if I blame her at all because the one thing I do like
Yeah,
about
so
the new Star Trek Discovery show is it's a core group of writers and they don't allow new writers in.
yeah.
Mhm.
So you know the characters are going to be genuine and true to the character.
Mhm.
Instead, you get all these guest writers that come in and they give you their own interpretation of what they feel the character's like, and I hate that.
I never realized how that was until you introduced it to me. Like I always like I don't know, didn't really until you really rewatch episodes
Hmm.
and know actually how the character is. You're like, oh wow, yeah.
You know, of course, the actor or actress will do their best to try to work with the lines they're given, but there's only so much you can do with bad writing. You know, I mean, and that's the sad reality.
Mhm.
So my kids keep running out the door. My sister's coming to pick them up. We'll meet up with
Mm.
them tomorrow.
Ooh,
I know, right? We both have
alone
to work.
time.
Well, not really.
It's more sleep time.
Yeah.
Because I'm live, remember? I can't just sneak off. All right, Scott, Jenny, it's time for you guys to take over the show. I'm going to be leaving now. For all the one viewer of Scott watching us.
You know, we always get replays.
I know we do. So let's go ahead and move into day 207, which is the next point where we see the show pick up. And again, it's with Janeway.
Mhm.
And Janeway's doing a ship tour of damage. The ship is, still badly damaged after 207 days. So I don't know if they're just having a hard time making repairs, if they're still getting attacked. We really don't know too much of what's going on. So
Well,
I mean, we know that they're running from the Krenim. Well,
yeah.
they're running through the Krenim space, which for the life of me, I still can't figure out why they just won't leave Krenim space. This is the thing I don't like about the writing on this is why? And there's a reason I'm mentioning this now.
Especially at the end.
Don't mention that. We're gonna get to that. Why is it so important now at this point in the story? Why
Yeah.
is it so important? Why can't they just walk away?
Yeah.
So you got Janeway's ego. To me, it feels like her ego's, her pride is bruised, and so now she's gonna get through this phase no matter the cost. She lost her crew. She's losing her ship. Her tactical officer's blind. You know, she's badly hurt. She's gonna get through this space if the Krenim
Mhm.
like it or not. She's gonna use every trick and everything she can possibly do to get through this thing. So then, well, now with that said, Janeway is doing a tour with Neelix, and they're going quarter by quarter, deck by deck. I don't know what the point of this tour is, but they go into Chakotay's room and they find the watch that he had replicated
Yeah.
for her.
And I was confused at this point because she had her tricorder and she was reading and finding damages and saying, "Oh, this is number 32. This is what." But the tricorder reads the watch, it had beep 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 beep, and there's a watch, Oh.
Yeah,
And I was really confused. Why? What was she I thought she was just looking for damages. She wasn't looking
maybe,
for replicated items.
maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're looking for things that they could re-replicate.
But almost anything in it they could replicate.
Maybe,
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's more than just one item in his room that he replicated.
maybe that's a good point, but we really don't know. And plus, I've had other conversations with the people in the years past about replication technology and how is it really something that just appears out of thin air, or is it kind of like a 3D printer where you have materials and all these raw materials? So like,
Yeah.
if you have, we kind of get this again. We see this in Star Trek Picard. If we can do a quick jump, where Star Trek Picard, the first scene that you see when they're ordering food, he's like, "You really have nothing in your replicator selection. Like all they can get is like basic ice cream."
Yeah. I know.
So
I
I'm
just thought it was
wondering
a
if it's
very
something
weird
like that.
scene.
I
I
wonder
know.
if
I
it's
know the whole
you know
reason
what
I
I'm
had that
saying, right?
scene was, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But I'm just saying the whole reason I had that scene was because they wanted to know that basically oh, the whole thing was just to say, okay, hey, well, that they're worried about your cocaine.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Because then she wears the broken watch
Yeah.
on her uniform.
Yep. She does.
Well, and I think it's kind of like a reminder to keep going. It's one of those things
Mm.
because that
I
gives
don't know.
her,
It was just weird. I know.
yeah, it just gives her something else to focus on to help her,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it was a pointless scene.
Hmm?
Hmm. It was. I think it's just, oh, we need to fill in a story gap here.
Hmm.
What can we do at day 207? Oh, we
Who
could
cares
say
if
it's
he
5 months
didn't
later.
follow the rules? It wasn't like they fell in love or anything. So,
Well, the other thing you didn't mention, like you kind of mentioned earlier, is they did make it a point saying, oh, that was 5 months ago, back when it
yeah,
was my birthday.
I guess
You
that
know?
could be trying to understand the timeline. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a weird scene to me.
It was completely weird.
It's almost like they would try that writer specifically wanted them to get together,
Hmm.
and that was a kind of like a starting point of their relationship.
See, I don't know if that was the intent, because usually captains and first officers are really close.
Hmm.
Right.
But there's some lines that should never be crossed.
But you could tell in the whole series that they always tried to get them to be like lovers.
Until we get later in the series and she gets a
Yeah.
holodeck boyfriend.
Yeah.
But look at
I mean, look,
T'Pol and
they
Archer. If you want to go into comparisons, Archer really cared for T'Pol. And they kind of hinted at the beginning of the season or the series that they might try to put them together, but then they decided against it. But you
I mean,
could
look at the
tell the
episode
love.
of Voyager. Sorry.
Go ahead.
The episode of Voyager where they crash land on that planet and they can't leave the planet because of medical
Yeah.
for some reason. And they, Janeway, Chakotay, of all people, crash land on this planet and they have to stay
Hmm.
because they contracted some disease. What's the point? of that episode. Anyways.
So I think we can move on
Hmm.
because this was a pretty pointless scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about 52% restoration. That's why I decided to bring up the when I was coming up with a lot of these. If I didn't get a date and it was a new scene, I just whatever the particular scene was about is what I actually wrote it down as. So this one is 52% restoration. So
Hmm.
Paris is making friends with the Anorak's first officer. I forgot his name. Paris
Yeah.
learns that the crew isn't the crew is not happy, and the first officer is just too eager to help him overthrow Captain Anorax. So obviously, Paris has been like, putting in seeds of distrust, trying to get this, trying to get, favoritism with the
Hmm.
first officer. He learns that it's not a happy crew, and he reports these things to Chakotay. But by this time, Chakotay is starting to become tempted by Anorax,
Yeah.
and trying to he's working on ways of trying to help Anorax to stop the loss of life, right? And so then the two of them are fighting, and Paris tries to I think I forget to say here because I forgot to write it down, but I know what I was going to do next. Is Paris was trying to convince him, and then like, well, what's basically the point of rank? And then Chakotay's like, if you don't want to use rank, we can settle this the old-fashioned way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, so basically it was a threat, and a pretty good one because Paris was starting to back down when Captain Anorax has what he calls what did I say we wrote it down as? Oh, he had a oh I didn't write it down. He basically had a vision or a thought how to
Yeah.
restore,
Uh,
and as we already know from this point, he doesn't care about the crown at this point. He just cares about getting back to his wife. So the guy is willing to accept a 52% restoration in hopes that it will bring back his wife, which obviously they eradicate the planet in question, and it does not bring back his wife.
nope.
And Chakotay actually says, how much more do you need to see you know, before you've had enough of this? And then Chakotay finally comes around and they start planning their coup d'etat.
Well, I think Sugar finally come around because found out why he was really doing this.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Well, in my opinion, that would make him actually a more believable and lovable villain.
Yeah.
When you understand why the villain's doing what they're doing, like look at Guardians of the Galaxy, for example. Thanos wasn't necessarily an evil person. If you look at it from the aspect that he was trying to save humanity by killing humanity, which is kind of ironic to today's environment. We have a disease out there that is trying to kill our humanity, and there's steps we're trying to take, but people are just dumb, and Thanos has a good idea about it. Hey, we're just gonna remove half the population, solve the problem. So
But then make every single Marvel fanatic pissed off.
absolutely. That's how you know you have a good villain. When you're so angry, it's like we can't discuss Star Trek Discovery,
Hmm.
season episode 6. They did really good job of pissing me
Mm-hmm.
off last night, or not last night, last week, which we can't discuss. But when we get to there, trust me, I will be discussing why it pissed me off. But those are the kind of episodes that are really good when something just makes you so
Yeah.
mad or so angry. It's a good
Mm-hmm.
episode.
Yep.
Or makes you stop and think because it was a good episode.
Yeah,
Same type of thing.
yeah, truly. So in this particular case, eh, I start feeling for Anorax's character. I start feeling the torment that he had. I'm not saying I agreed with him because I
Oh
absolutely don't,
no.
but I can feel for the character, and that's where I'm trying to get at. And Chakotay feels too, but then Chakotay's like, this is genocide, right? Basically, which
Yeah.
is gonna, ironically enough, we're gonna be right. Chakotay and is having to rationalize genocide because Captain Anorax already has. Chakotay has to decide it for himself. You
Yeah.
know, is this something that he can be a part of? He thought the captain was working with him to stop genocide, which is why he agreed to help him in the first place. But then when he found, oh, I had an instant whim. I don't care what you have to say, Jenny. I don't care what you have to say, Scott. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Why? Because I'm the vice admiral. Well, in his case, I'm the captain. It's my call. The buck stops
There was
here.
I think there was a scene. Yeah, because this is when. Okay, so I'm gonna go back a little bit. There's a
Right.
scene where when Chakotay's trying to basically, use the weapon to his advantage,
Hmm.
and I was so confused because they go, "Oh, well, if we got rid of this asteroid, then all these other planets are not going to survive."
Well,
But
yeah.
yet, he wants to go and destroy planets to bring his back his wife.
Only planets that are going to help him get back his wife. So, and that the asteroid you're talking about was a simulation. He let Chakotay do it, the
Hmm.
simulation, to show him, oh, yeah, that asteroid didn't affect one planet, it affected multiple planets.
Mhm.
It
But when
affected,
he keeps doing this several times, he's doing the same thing the asteroid, if they did destroy the asteroid, would have done.
well, yes
Destroy
and no.
planets for his pleasure, for his benefit.
Well, we could put it this way. It's like, what would happen if you were to destroy Russia? You know, versus what would happen if you destroyed the
I
whole
have a
Eastern
comment, but I'll
Hemisphere?
keep my mouth to
No, no,
myself.
no,
Sorry.
no. I'm saying then what would happen?
No,
No,
what?
on the same argument, what would happen if you destroyed all of Eastern Hemisphere? See what I'm getting at? Chakotay wanted to blow up the whole entire. I'm just using as an analogy.
Hmm.
Blowing up a whole entire hemisphere versus just destroying one particular target. Doesn't have to be Russia. It could be Africa. It could be anywhere. It could be
Yeah.
any place.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and part of the reason too he wanted to go after that comet is that comet was responsible for them getting to Krim space in
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
place.
That's why. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just I just thought that was interesting with how they brought it up
Hmm.
because they think they're destroying one planet, they said, "Oh, that planet, you know, has a valuable metal that all the other planets around use it." Well,
Yeah.
they destroyed that planet. How do they know that planet doesn't have a valuable metal or a resource for the planets around it?
Yeah. So when we go to Rationalize Genocide, we learn that Chakotay confronts the captain. Chakotay tells him that he's committing acts of genocide. Chakotay realizes that there's basically no um there's no reasoning with them. And the captain is trying to restore the colony of a Krenim empire. And then Chakotay wants to know why. I kind of glanced over it earlier, but this is basically what I wrote down here. And the colony is called Kiana Prime, which when he first started attacking the enemy, we learned this too. When they first had
Hmm.
this big battle, the first time they got the ship, they were holding their own, but they wanted an easy win. They wanted an easy fix. You know, I guess in some ways it'd be no different than what would happen if like when we built the atomic bombs. You have these super mega weapons that you hope you never have to use, but then you're like, how can I stop the loss of life? Which there's more to that whole story than just the atomic bombs. And yeah,
My
and
laptop's dying.
yeah. Anyways, I don't want to go too far off topic. Though. I just use it as a reference
Mhm.
example. But so you get this whole idea that if I just eliminate that particular species, I don't have to worry about the consequences of my decision. And he did. And not only did he have to worry about the consequences, he lost the one thing that he cared about the most in the world, his wife, in the
Yep.
process.
Or the hair clipping he had then that it's actually temporal shielded core almost that triangular shaped thing was a lock of her hair.
Which I want to discuss at the very end.
Okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead
No,
of
no, no, no,
myself.
no. I do want to discuss at the very end.
Yeah.
And I think I think that was his downfall, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, Chakotay basically at that point, after talking to Anorax, was like, okay, I'm done. Then he tells, Paris, do what you got to do and let's get this going. He realizes that he can't reason with the guy, he can't rationalize with him. So then, from there, we move on to uh, convincing Chakotay. Paris talks to Chakotay again about the paranoia, the megalomania, and he basically agrees. Chakotay tells him send a message to Janeway. Here's
Hmm.
my question: why not send a message to Janeway sooner? He
Because
had access to the entire
Tom was
database.
following orders.
No, not
Remember?
Tom. I'm talking about Chakotay.
Oh, because Chakotay was, I don't want to say brainwashed, but was convinced that he can save Voyager,
Mhm.
so he wasn't thinking about it. That's why he didn't send it out, because he was like, "Oh well, I'm going to survive. I'm going to
But
make this
he,
work."
but he's no better than Anorax in that aspect. He's making decisions for an entire
Right,
crew, and it's not his decision.
right. But he doesn't realize that he's kind of getting. It's like
Yeah,
brainwashing, pretty much. I don't want to say completely, but it's very much.
yeah,
Anorak's kind of brainwashed him into thinking that this is a good thing.
yeah. He was lured in
Mhm.
by the
Mhm.
promise. So, but I don't want to spend too much time on that one
Yeah.
because we kind of been hitting on the last three
Yeah.
topics. So we move into day 226. We learn that the USS Voyager meets up with the Muasi. I think I don't know. That's what they're the Muasi. Sorry, Muasi.
Yeah.
I actually spelt
Moasis.
it out so I could actually pronounce it. The Muasi and then the Hydran, and they're gonna help tack the Anorak. So we don't know when Janeway met them. We don't know much about
Yeah, I
them.
was a little confused. Like, where did they like? Did they leave the Anorak system? Or not Anoraks? Did they leave uh the system to go get these people?
We don't really know. So did
Yeah.
they leave and did they just find? Well, they kind of hinted throughout the episode that they're gonna find allies.
Mhm.
So basically, the Hydra and the Moasi join the attack to destroy Anorax's ship. They need to be equipped with temporal shielding. So Janeway starts going down her senior staff and saying, "Hey, I'm going to pick you two. You're going to go to the Hydra, and you two are going to go over to the Moasi, and I will pilot Voyager." And then, of course, everybody's not happy with that decision. But
Yeah.
but it's more important that they have the temporal shielding, and then that basically leads us into the final act, which is the final act of Year of Hell. There's actually two more. There's one more act after this, but
Mhm.
where Voyager and her allies, so probably a little less than 30 days later, they get the shields, they get everything ready, and they're ready to make their attack. Chakotay and Paris, have been trying to coordinate. They've been, everything's about timing. Is the whole idea is what I'm getting behind this.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The temporal shields are now online, and then Paris starts working on his algorithm to lower the shields. He's trying not to get caught in the process. Well, Anorax's ship, the shields aren't lowered. The temporal shields aren't lowered, which is what they need to do so it can become vulnerable to attack. So they wipe out one of the two races. I think it was in the Hydra, and they wiped out. So then Janeway
Yes.
pulls back,
Mhm.
and then she's like, "Well, we need to wait for Paris to be successful." And the first officer sees what's going on here, and he just has to make a decision at that point. So he turns off the shields and brings it back into phase and the reality, and then powers down the temporal core.
I was so proud of him. I was like, you go, you
Mhm.
go.
Yeah, which
Show
allowed
him who's
them,
boss."
then turn around and. But here's the thing: I don't understand about this whole scene. If Janeway knew her plan was going to be a suicide one, what was the point of having the temporal shields?
To help them while they're fighting beforehand.
But
Well,
she
and
really didn't need them.
the thing is, at the time that they created the temporal shielding, I don't think she had made the decision to go
I'm
down with the
pretty.
ship.
I'm pretty sure she did. I'm pretty sure she researched him because Janeway is a scientist first and
Oh
foremost,
yeah.
and I'm pretty
I
sure
think
she
they did because
researched. Go ahead.
I think they did because I think they needed to get their temporal shielding down before she could run into it.
Yeah.
So they need the temporal shielding to help fight them before they move down. Because I don't think she was expecting the second officer to shut everything down as fast as that they were expecting.
Mm. Well, we do know that when that happens, Janeway rams the ship and she uses her classic line, "Time's up," which brings us back to day one.
Ugh. Mm.
Now,
Mm.
I want to mention that hair. I think the reason why or sorry, I want to say why Anorax couldn't restore his wife is because he had a piece of her.
Yep.
If he would have
Yep.
destroyed the hair, he might have been able to restore her and keep the Krenim the way they were with 98% restoration.
Yep.
He actually was the whole reason why I think, in my opinion, that he could not restore the timeline because a piece of the technology was still there.
Yep.
So,
But then they go back to the very beginning of day one,
yep.
and they go, "Oh, we're in conflict. I should just not come in here."
Now let's
And
mention
they,
let's mention what happened the first day one in comparison.
same thing happened, but they went in.
Yeah, why? Because Janeway said, "No, we need this shortcut. We're gonna go through." So why is it when day one reset again?
And then they're like,
Why
"Oh,
did
let's
she
go
all of
around."
a sudden change her mind? Was it just
I want to
because
know
the
the same
Krenim
thing.
were like nicer?
Either that, or I mean, you think about it, the timeline basically reset at that point. They didn't know what was ahead of them.
Right.
But my
So it
point
should
is,
be like, it should be, if the original day one happened, the second day one happened. What was the difference between the first original and the second
True.
original, or the second day,
the
or
attitude of the
second
cap,
first day?
the attitude of the captain of the Krenim ship
Hmm.
was the big difference. I think Janeway's ego said, "Oh, you're not going to let us pass through your space. We're going to pass through your space." Versus, "Hey, this is a hostile environment. It's not really recommended."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no problem. Let's go ahead and go around your space.
Yeah. I just like, really, the whole
See that?
time they could have gone ran it.
Shitty writing.
Mm-hmm.
That was shitty writing with a shitty ending. Sorry. I hope shitty's not a word that's going to get us censored.
No, I don't think so.
Good. Okay.
I've heard worse on stream, so
Okay. But it is. It literally is. It's like it's bad
Mm-hmm.
writing. We'll just say bad. We'll stay away from the
well,
swear words.
that comment I had earlier is probably a good point to
Go
talk
ahead.
about it.
Go ahead.
The writer of this episode had actually planned Year of Hell to be an entire season, and he was turned down. So all the big points he had to cram in 2 episodes. So that's why it felt a little bit off at points.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do a whole season of it, but I think we talked before. We said it'd be nice to have a mini series, like maybe 6
Mhm.
episodes of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if a whole series of Year of Hell would be great.
And I think if they did do a 3-part miniseries, it should be like the last 3, and then the first 3 going into the new season, or the mid shift point going
Yeah.
into the mid break. Because back in this time in Star Trek, they used to do a mid break.
Mhm.
Our newer shows they don't do that, but
Ooh, I have
do
a
the
rant
last
for.
3. Yeah, just do the last 3 going up into the mid break, and then
Mm-hmm.
come back and get people excited for the last 3 to finish
Yep.
it. I think that would have been a lot better.
Mhm.
When we get to Geno talk, I have
We are in
a
general
rant.
talking at this point.
Okay.
Go for it.
Oh, okay. So we talk about how we do the mid breaks and stuff.
Hmm.
So I watch Chicago Med and Chicago Fire, which are TV shows,
Hmm.
and they said, "Well, coming back on November 11th." Blah blah blah. I was like, "Oh yay!" They only did 2 episodes, and they go, "Oh, we're not going to come back until January."
Oh, I hate that.
2 episodes. Now, granted, they did record it. They changed the rewriting because it's COVID times and that stuff. It's like, I understand that film is going to take a little longer. Just
Hmm.
say, hey, would y'all rather? I would be like, hey, I think y'all would rather have us have the whole season ready to go
Hmm.
and have you wait than us tease you with 2 episodes and make you wait until January to the rest.
I think they did it because of the holiday season, though. They didn't want to compete with the holiday season, but
Yeah, but why air 2 rather
Why
than
didn't
wait?
2?
well, here's what
Just
I want
wait
to say.
until January.
But I think nowadays they learn because why is Star Trek Discovery releasing their episode tomorrow when they probably should have released it today
Yeah.
Yeah.
because of the holiday? It's like,
But it's only a holiday for us, not everybody else in the world.
but
So
everybody else in the world
imagine,
doesn't get it until
imagine
Friday.
if they think about this. Imagine if they said, "Oh, because of Canadian Thanksgiving, we're not going to re-release it." Well, we're not doing that on that day,
Yeah,
Canadian Thanksgiving. I would be upset that, oh, that's the Canadian holiday, not a U.S. holiday.
yeah,
So it's the same concept. I
maybe
know it's a U.S. based show, but they got to remember that it's not just a U.S. show; it's a
Mhm.
worldwide show.
a U.S. based show filmed in Canada.
Yeah,
That was Supernatural.
a lot of shows nowadays move to Canada
Yeah,
to film.
Stargates were filmed in Canada.
Mhm.
But actually,
Uh,
this series, the only part of it I think was filmed in Canada because they also went to Iceland too.
yeah.
Yep.
So you gotta
So,
remember. But yeah, I don't know. I was just very frustrated. So just say starting in January, and they The problem is they were like, new episodes coming. They started this in August. I was so excited. I kept sharing it out. I was like, yay, yay! And then starting to come, we had 2 episodes, and now we won't get any more into January.
Yeah.
January 6th.
That means we don't get that, and we do know that so they've changed their dynamics on that, or their metrics, and they discovered, hey, it's better to air Star Trek year long with a little break in between, even though with the
Oh, Scott
COVID.
has some news about Star
Uh,
Trek.
Which
Something
He
we
told
can
one?
me
talk
last
about in the
night.
air.
Trying
We
to
talk
remember
about
what
in the
that.
air. Or we talk about it off the air.
We can
We
talk about it
can.
on
I'm
the
trying
air.
to remember what it was. I pinged you.
January and Picard.
Oh yes, thank you. Long day today.
Uh,
Picard starts filming again in January. I don't have an exact date, but it's from one of the shows I was listening to
hmm,
on Turk Radio.
okay. Yeah, I did see that Star Trek Picard's back according to my CBS app thing,
Mhm.
but they didn't give any information with it. So it's like, yes, okay, great. You're just giving us a link to season 1 of Picard.
Yeah.
So most
Now
likely,
it makes more sense.
we'll get a second season of Lower Decks before we get Picard. But you know what? If they want to wait to January and have all the safety permit to get people filming, I'm more than happy than wait to January to film.
I don't think it's gonna be January. I think January is when you start getting the antibodies. There's not the antibodies, the medication, the
Right, but
shots.
I'm saying for Picard, if they
Yeah,
want to start, get all these safety precautions done in January and start filming, that's fine.
I think filming is gonna be. I think filming and life going back to normal will be probably somewhere between March and May of next year at the
Yeah,
earliest.
yeah.
And that all depends on the metrics and the numbers and how many people are willing to take the vaccination shot.
Hmm.
Because again, for all those dumb people out there, it is not being forced to take the vaccination. It's still your choice to take it or not to take it.
And some people can't
I
take it.
sometimes I gotta stop listening to TikTok. I swear sometimes because those people out there, I tell you,
just skip over those.
right?
Once you
I do.
skip over
Right,
those,
right,
TikTok will
right.
recognize that you don't like it
Yeah,
and quit playing those to you.
yeah.
TikTok knows you and knows what you like. And if you start liking certain videos, they'll start showing you more and more of those videos.
TikTok, listen to me. I don't want to see 18-year-old girls shaking their butt. And speaking of TikTok, what is up? Okay, back in our day when we were young, right? Or when I was young,
Tangent.
I know
We're on
that's the whole
tangents.
point. Back when I was young, you would do a dance, right? You would learn that dance, then you would
Hmm.
learn another dance. But I swear, maybe there are boys out there dancing. If there are, I do apologize. I'd never see because apparently TikTok thinks I want to watch young girls shaking their butt. I keep swiping as fast as I
And
can through them.
okay, so my question also is, are okay, we're not in the same generation, but we're all kind of in the same mindset. As when we learned dances, they were like the Cotton Eye Joe and some, you know, not so sexy dances. Now you watch these dances and these people are like popping the
Uh,
butts around and shaking them. I was like, yeah,
actually,
there was some in our days, but
I did learn those dances. But they
they're
did
not
do them
as
back in the
severe
2000s.
as some of these other
Oh,
ones.
worse.
I don't remember those.
When you first picked up the headset when we were off the air, I was listening to a song by Montel Jordan say "Get It On Tonight." That was probably one of the first. We didn't call it shaking your ass. We called it bumping and grinding.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
That's exactly what we called it. And it was
When I
literally a
hear it,
lot of bumping and grinding on each other. And it would, plus with the alcohol mixing and both people are in the mood. It's like it was really hard to keep yourselves off each other. But with that said, okay, the tangent's going on its own tangent. Let's get back on the tangent. My whole point about this tangent about the young girl shaking their butt is it's if you do click on one of them, it's the same maybe 3 or 4 dances in one outfit. Then it's the same 3 or 4 dances in the second outfit.
hmm
Or sometimes you'll hear the same song from the same girl as you're swiping through, and you're like, oh, swipe through, okay, swipe through, and it's the same girl, and it's a different outfit on doing the same video. I'm like, have we really gotten that lazy as a society that we can't pick new songs to dance to? That, oh, this song, I got like 5,000 likes, or I got 10,000. I don't know how many likes to get, I'm going to do it again. Hey, on this video, look, I got another 5 or ten
There was
thousand
I
likes.
get a lot of TikTok now that people saying, "What happened? I was getting all these follows and like, and I was telling my analytics just went down."
Yeah.
So, but I was gonna do another tangent. I forgot what I was gonna be about.
Yeah.
Man,
But yeah, so TikTok, if you're listening, less young girls, and give me more things I want to see. I like sarcastic humor. I like watching people get hurt. It's funny. As long as it's not like a serious hurtness, you know.
yeah,
Like if somebody does something stupid and they lightly hurt themselves, that's funny. You know, somebody falling off a building, not so funny.
no.
You know, but you get my point. There are certain
TikTok,
things like you do.
you can continue sending me half naked men dancing.
I don't get any of those, which I'm grateful. But in the same token, it's like I don't get any of those. The closest thing I got was like this guy was wearing a half shirt, right? Or not wearing, only wearing half his clothes, and the girl does this stitch with him, and she's like, "Hey, we need you back in class. Put back on your shirt." You know, it's like this is 20% of our grade. I'm like, not really funny, but hey, it's different. It's something new. So I was
Also,
grateful.
just don't download TikTok because it's addicting and you can't stop. You go, oh, I'll watch a few episodes and a few TikToks, and all of a sudden, 30 minutes later, you start watching them.
Hmm.
Well, half the time you're just swiping through them. For
Yeah.
me. The other thing I don't like is if you do try to follow somebody live. There's one guy called. He's a loudmouth and he's funny because I think he's funny, but he mainly trolls the trollers.
There's some great ones.
Yeah,
And
but
then
they're also
all Jay sends me is about how fours are the best, and I'm like, whatever. I don't click on them
oh
because
no
I
no
don't
no
want
no no
fours on my car,
what
on my TikToks. I
it
don't
had
want that
Jeep
on my TikToks.
it had Jeep on there.
Yeah,
The
making
last
fun of
one
me
I sent
probably.
you, no, the last one I sent you had a Jeep on there. It
I,
actually had an acronym for a Jeep.
oh, that I saw that video. I was gonna send it to you, but it's like, no, you're gonna give me all flag about Jeep. So
Hey,
Jeeps are better than the Ford.
I open every single video you send me. You
That's the
can at
only
least
one I didn't open.
you can at least give me the same courtesy if you're gonna
I'm
make
just
fun
not
of my
sending
Ford.
you half naked man videos. I send my sister, so you get those in your
Please don't.
for
Please
you
don't.
page.
No. I'm talking
But
about
this one
if you're
guy,
gonna send me videos saying Jeeps are awesome, Fords suck, at least have the same courtesy of opening up. Jen, do we really need to see your butt?
I'm wondering,
Jen?
are y'all standing? Oh, because the hamster cage went up higher.
Oh,
Oh, now we get to look
hi.
at. Never mind.
Hi. How are you?
Any what else tangent wise?
What? Kaylee, you're supposed to be gone.
Yeah, he wants some alone time. He wants to sleep in peace.
Jenny says I need alone time. Jenny says I need alone time.
Well, you need some time with your wife.
Hmm. They just slept. Again. I guess my sister had to go to the garage to get, I don't know what for. Makes me a little nervous. Oh, apparently they wanted some of their Christmas stuff. So our family has a tradition usually on Black Friday to set up our Christmas decorations.
Yeah, we usually do. We should start getting stuff down after Christmas, after Thanksgiving. And I had this Friday off for once, so
Nice. Well, look, Jen finally got down. Well, guys, I think that's it for the
I
show,
think
though.
that's it.
Honestly,
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
a. We only had like 2 people who come.
Oh, so
go ahead.
homework for next week. What do we
Oh,
want to do before we wrap up?
um,
Speaking of TikTok, Kaylee just sent me a TikTok on Discord.
I wonder if Siri would tell me what to watch.
Okay, maybe.
I don't know. Hey Siri, what Star Trek episode should I watch?
Yeah, I'm not gonna share.
out. A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Let him go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna share what Kaylee said to me because it is political.
Hey, they have Mandalorian on here.
Ooh, we're not doing Mandalorian series.
I know, but I just saw it popped up. I don't know. We
There's
need
so
a
many
random
good.
Star Trek
There
episode.
is so many good ones. I wonder if
I,
Google
I
will. Let's try Google.
I mean, I
Random
I
Star
have one
Trek.
in mind, but we just did 2 time episodes, so we may not want to do a third.
Time Zero.
Oh! Whoa!
Timeless.
Hey. Whoa! Let me go here. Share my screen.
Is there a random like generator for Star Trek episodes?
Yes, there is. See it?
Oh my gosh.
Let's click it. Come on, baby. What series? Or does it matter?
It doesn't matter. What series have we not done in a while?
Other than Discovery, anything else you're probably fine.
I
We
got
haven't done any
Enterprise.
TOSs yet,
We haven't done.
technically.
Oh, we have not done any TOSs, and we haven't really done any Enterprises.
Yeah, we did one at Enterprise, right? Yeah, we
Yes,
did one
We did
Enterprise.
one Enterprise. I'd say we do TOS. Watch it be the one with the Spock helmet.
Errand of Mercy, season 1, episode 26. Errand of Mercy.
Okay, I guess we're doing that episode.
So let's go ahead and do this. I'm gonna go to the comments. Homework. Homework next week.
I don't know what the one's about. I haven't watched TOS in I don't know how long.
The original.
All right.
There it is. That's TOS, or the original series.
Yeah. No, those old scientists.
Sorry, Scott. You don't get a
What?
face.
No.
Hey, I'm the one actually clicking on them, so
Yeah,
It's not TOS anymore, guys. It's the old scientists.
the old scientists. Those crazy old scientists. So, guys, we will be talking about season 1, episode 26 of Errand of Mercy. Now, I do apologize. I'm not very familiar with
Yeah,
what.
me either.
I'm not familiar with TOS episodes based on titles. I could do pretty good on the newer series and some of the older
Mhm.
stuff, but it'll be fun.
It'd be really fun because I haven't watched TOS in a long time, so
So we'll go ahead and do that. So, guys, I just want to say, live long and prosper. Have a happy holidays, and
same
be
to you.
safe.